Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. Tom Downey here at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis at Radio Row with the setup behind us here. Press conferences today for NFL coaches and GMs. Apparently, unless you are Brian Schottenheimer and others who are not here, several noteworthy news items coming out of what Stephen Jones had to say yesterday that we did not get to on our video yesterday afternoon. Let us begin with Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams. But before that, a reminder, we will have videos for you here all week long at the NFL Combine. We will get some details on which prospects are meeting with the Cowboys as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed, even if we do a little at-home radio style, since the graphics are unavailable, at least for now, because we have press conferences to cut here for Chat Sports. Hit that subscribe button. I expect something to happen with both Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams that keeps them on the team, but reduces their current cap numbers. It does not make sense for the Cowboys to have Osa and Clark and Quinnen Williams all counting $20 million on the cap this year. That is just too much money tied up in one position group when you have so many other needs. Osa is a pretty easy restructure. It is in the second year of his deal. It makes sense. Quinn and Clark, though, I wonder if they will explore potential extensions for those guys. Of note, they already got an extension done with Quinn's agent, who is also Javonte Williams' agent. Nicole Lynn over at Clutch Sports reps both players. That could be beneficial in terms of having a working relationship already established. Quinn's deal with the void years the Jets had tacked into it do make it easier to do a potential restructure as well. It is a little bit unusual to then do an extension after you do a restructure, but it is worth mentioning as a possibility. Kenny Clark has got 2 more years left on his deal, so an extension would save you more money versus a restructure. Those deals would be pretty expensive, especially for Big Q. That one, I think, would be a top-of-the-market deal for a defensive tackle. But I think in the next 10 to 13 days or whatever it is, we will get a lot of news on restructures and extensions. You know, if you see a restructure for one of those guys, it makes me wonder if an extension is going to come later this year as well. Over to Jadeveon Clowney. And, you know, before the Cowboys did their defensive coordinator hire, they were making a very big deal about wanting him back. He is a big part of what we want to do. We want to re-sign him. But Stephen was a little bit less committal on that front. When asked if Clowney was a fit for what Christian Parker and the new staff want to do, he said it is a work in progress. We just got to see how all that works. So that is not a yes. We are going to try to bring back Clowney. It would not be a shock if they let him hit the open market and see what the contractual value is and then go from there. So I would lean towards no extension before free agency opens. He is someone they would, I think, still probably try to bring back depending on the cost, as long as they think he is a fit. I think he is a fit. Personally, he has literally played 3-4 outside linebacker before, especially if you are going to have a bendier, speedier guy off the other side. You can have a bigger body like Clowney in that outside linebacker role in a 3-4 scheme. So I would still bring him back, but we will see what the contract stuff ends up looking like. Would you bring back Clowney? Vote in the comment section. Y for yes and N for no. Go vote in the pinned comment of today's show. The big picture stuff, there is a very clear focus from the Cowboys. The offense is good. The offense works. We do not need to change that. They have brought back Javonte Williams. They are going to at least franchise tag George Pickens, so he is going to be here next year. I would not expect that many more changes on that side of the ball. If they find something that makes sense at right tackle, maybe they could look to move on from Terrence Steele. But for now, I lean towards no cut there. They just keep him. And, you know, running it back on offense does make sense when you put up top 5 numbers over the course of a season and are hamstrung by the worst defense in the NFL. So the defense needs fixing. Media asked Steven about Jerry's busting the budget comments. Would that be something they explore? He said they feel good about the offensive side of the ball. They have revamped the defensive coaching staff, but they have to fix the defense, and they know that. And I think they are a little bit more willing to do more than what they have done in years past. But as we have complained about before, doing more for them means a $7 million deal. That would be a record-setting contract for this club over the past decade or so. Like, they have not done it. If you want to go 2 years, $14 million, that would be the biggest multi-year deal in over a decade. I think Henry Melton was the last one. It is insane. They are just not very good at spending money in free agency. They have never been good at spending money in free agency. We will see what they do this time. Steven had to say a lot of what is done will depend on what is out there. The value of what we think is there, and we will make decisions based on that. We think we will end up being involved in free agency. Cool. But if you are looking for value in free agency based on their own benchmarks and everything, it is probably not going to be what they are aiming for. So they have to be willing to change their ways. Will they? It will be something I am sure we learn more about at the Combine here as the days go along. All right, more of what Stephen Jones had to say. He spent a decent amount of time on DeMarvion Overshown. He is entering the final year of his deal, and I do not really think he is someone they are actively trying to extend because the best ability is availability, and availability has not been his thing. Steven said, I think the biggest thing is that the availability. Certainly no one wants to play the game more than him. I can assure you of that. But obviously, he needs to put together a full season. And if he does, it is going to be a great season because I know how good he is and what he can do for us. Fired up about what he brings to the table. The only question mark he has is the injury issues that he has had and getting through a full year, which I think we all agree with. I think that is a potential piece at the linebacker spot. Is it one you can fully trust? Honestly, probably not. And that is why I think they need at least 2 new linebackers this offseason. Whether that be 2 through free agency or a draft pick and a free agent or 2 draft picks, maybe. I would lean towards 1 free agent and 1 draft pick at minimum. You have to overhaul that room. And I am not talking free agents as in the Kenneth Murray trade, obviously, but the Kenneth Murray and Jack Sanborn types. Go get a good linebacker. Granted, the Cowboys kind of let Eberflus pick his linebackers, and he wanted Kenneth Murray because that is the type of guy that every coach thinks I can get the most out of him, and no one has done it yet. So if Parker wants a linebacker, if he wants a Kobe Dean or Alex Singleton type or whatever, I think linebacker and nickel corner are the spots. And edge 2 stands out, really. Those are areas I would not be that surprised that the Cowboys went above that $6 million a year price point that they have kind of refused to go over in recent memory. One other player Stephen Jones mentioned, because Christian Parker was very clear, like he did not want to hint or lay out who he liked and did not like because he probably has not talked that much to the players yet. But Stephen Jones, and maybe take this with a grain of salt, did say Savion Revel is someone that this organization, including Parker, is still high on. Last year was a redshirt year. It was not that great. He was coming off injury. The defensive scheme and the talent around him was terrible. There were some good flashes there. That, I think, is a huge part of why they hired Christian Parker. The answers he gave them about how are you going to make Savion Revel work were good ones. They invested a 3rd-round pick on him, but they had a much higher grade. It was only because of medical stuff that he fell. If he stays healthy with a full offseason now, which he did not have last year, he did not have that regular draft process and all that work and then injury rehab, etc. Hopefully he can be a piece for you. Otherwise, there is a lot of uncertainty in that cornerback room as well. So what is your confidence level in Savion Revel? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comments of today's show. Steven did say they are open to trades. I think that part kind of got maybe more headlines than it needed to. It was basically, we are open to anything, essentially. And, they are open to trading the 1st-round pick, which, yeah, of course they are. That is not a surprise. That is not anything that you would not anticipate out of the Cowboys. And the way they do business, they are not afraid to make trades. Will they do one? We will see. They do not have that many draft picks on day 2, but also day 3. Hey, maybe we will get some more buzz on Minkah Fitzpatrick this week. I think that is a player I know they have liked in the past, and they were in on him. We mentioned it on whatever the Sunday video. If they did not trade for Quinn, they had the deal in place for Minkah, essentially. So I think they will revisit that one. We will see what ends up happening. I know John Eric Sullivan, the new Dolphins GM, just wrapped up talking, actually. Looking at my watch, maybe something about Minka. We will have an update for you, but I think there will be Minka traction the next 2 weeks or so. Final thoughts? Yeah, the restructures are going to come. Steven was asked about it and says, in general, every year we have reworked most of our contracts that can be reworked to create room. That is a given. It is in the contracts that we get to do that. It is our option to rework every contract down and push it out. That is something we usually do with most. Which they do. They will restructure Dak. They will restructure CeeDee Lamb. Those two moves alone get them well under the salary cap. Additional moves, I think they have the first or second most max available room via restructures. They have got money to spend. Will they do it? Knowing it kind of feels like it is going to be at least through the free agency period, the Pickens franchise tag at the $28 million figure, which sucks. I wish it was more like a $15 million extension hit instead. You know, how leveraged will they make themselves? They have the ability to do it and not really be over-leveraged. We will see. At some point, we will have the breaking news. We get the news we were waiting for. They have restructured. Boom, 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 boom. Hit that subscribe button so you do not miss it. More videos coming all week from the Combine. I will catch you in the next one.